doom scrolling. So much of my life right now, it feels like, is spent thinking about how the world is or could end, how things are just going to crap, how people are kind of not very nice on the internet, a lot of stuff. And I need to stop. I need to feel better about my life, about the world, because I only get one life. And at the end of the day, I do want to have a positive impact. I want to make sure that I do something that helps the world, the people I love. But I can't do that if I find myself falling deeper and deeper into rabbit holes on my phone, reading, watching, listening to all kinds of things that just make me want to quit. So here are 3 ways that I realized the other day as I was under the knife for a gum graft, I should be actively doing more to avoid doom scrolling and to start feeling a little bit better about the universe. The first is to make something. We'll see if you can track with the alliteration here in a second. The first is to make something. We were actually out today on the canal and elsewhere filming reels for Paris, My Pocket. And vlogging is actually this for me too. What inspired this entire video actually was the realization as I was sitting in a dentist chair, a periodontist's chair, getting a gum graft a couple weeks ago. I was self-sabotaging. I was in the process of like, do I tell him that I forgot to do a thing? Do I let him know that I don't have the piece of paper that he asked for? Like trying to find a way out of it because I was really anxious about having him slice my face up. Understandable. And I realized I just need to calm down and just stick with it. And as I was thinking about it, I was like, how do I usually deal with this energy? And how is it that I'm actually getting through life okay right now? Because there's a lot of that energy coming up for a lot of different reasons, which we'll get into over the coming weeks and months, I'm sure. I was unfortunately about to hit a big break from making videos because, again, he was slicing up my face and he said, you need to take a break from talking for a while. And I said, well, that's unfortunate because my job is basically to talk, but take a break I did. And then I got even more angsty because ultimately making something, getting out, being proactive and creating something requires some intention, some planning, some thought. It requires being in the moment, and it's always so satisfying to come out the other side once you have made something. So I find personally, one of the ways that I can actually wrest a little bit of a sense of control back over life and my environment in general is to just go and make something. I realize that inertia is the biggest issue when we're talking about a lot of this, actually. Sacre Coeur is going to come up here in a second. I always miss it. There it is. Sorry, you're going to miss it. I guess the issue, the hardest thing to do is to build up enough momentum to overcome it. Like, there's this false security, this false sense of doing something, of having control when you sit down with your phone or you lock in and you're just swiping or you're on your computer mindlessly browsing, watching, reading. And all that does is kind of sink you deeper into that sense of inertia. You know, trains, metaphors.
Bonjour et bienvenue au Eurostar à destination de Londres. Nous prévoyons d'arriver à Londres 5:15.
All I'm trying to say is it's up to us to make the choice to build up the momentum to overcome that inertia. Proactivity. Proactivity is what we're after. We'll see if we can catch it. Sacre Coeur. Nope, it's too late. Sorry. The next is see someone. I picked a bad really, me and audio today. Very straight gin shot. Invisible flavor. Oh God, this is gonna be brutal. Cheers. Sensational music. Okay, before we get to meeting someone, let's talk a little bit more about making something, because something I should have talked about is how much getting hobbies have helped me. Over the last few months, over the last couple of years, I've tried to kind of integrate a little bit of maybe a hobby here and there because I just work all the time. I'm a workaholic and I half-heartedly got into it. But then a few months ago, I started playing around with circuitry and learning a little bit about electronics. And I wanted to start building stuff. Like when I say make stuff, I mean actually physically make things. And there's no space in Paris. I'm in London right now, which has so much more space. It's absurd, obviously. But in Paris, we got nothing for space. And so I was trying to figure out, how do I actually build stuff? I can't do woodworking. I don't have a car to work on. I have whatever. But 3D printing is something that was on my radar, along with modding things. Anyways, I started getting into it. I've built a couple of little hobbies for myself that I'm not sharing online. I'm just doing it for me, having fun making stuff, and making stuff for friends, like this little SD card box that I made for my host here in London with his name in it. It was my first attempt at like trying to put custom text into a design. Anyways, I'm learning. I'm having fun. And it's given me so much energy to have fun things to do, creative outlets that have nothing to do with work, to look forward to on weekends or outside of working hours. Make stuff, like it makes all the difference. Honestly, so good. You know what else makes all the difference? Bangers. I realize bangers by myself probably isn't the best transition to meet someone. Getting back to that, so that's better. I shared how like the last year was really rough for a number of reasons, and one of the things that I found that was the most helpful was instead of spiraling, which is something that I would have done in the past especially, given the right circumstances, given the right emotional state, I probably would have just fallen apart. And what I've done to cut that off now has been to actually just like leave the house and text friends being like, hey, I need to see somebody, and then meeting them wherever I'm on my way to or wherever they are. And I've found that getting out and seeing people in real life, this sounds really obvious, but getting out and seeing people in real life makes all the difference in stopping those spirals and cutting them short and in giving me the space and the time that I need with people who love me to regulate my system. Like one of the great lies of social media is that interacting with other people via your screen, via your phone, whether that's through text messages or through comments or watching and consuming passively, which is probably the worst, is the equivalent of spending time with people. Like it tricks your brain into thinking that's what you're doing, and yet there's so much good that comes from being in the presence of others, in the presence of people who care about you and who you care about. We're meant to be around each other physically, kind of like we're also meant to touch grass and get out in the forest from time to time, you know? Something I should probably do sometime soon.
Do it, 10 points.
To wrap it all up in the third, it's probably pretty obvious. It's minimize screen time. Get out, touch grass, go look at some art, take in a view. You know, like getting out of the house for one, and then maybe not taking the phone out of my pocket while I'm out. It's amazing how many people, we have this amazing view at the top of the Tate Modern right now, and how many people are just hanging out on their phones, scrolling, skipping around, whatever. You can do whatever you want, but like, this is amazing. Honestly, the less I use my phone, the happier I become. Not gonna lie. Of course, thanks to Dixie, today's patron producer, Dixie Mystery, as we might call her now, and all my patrons, for making it possible for me to wander around in strange cities, like my favorite suburb of Paris, London, explaining how it is that I'm staying sane. And London, actually, often really does help me to stay a little bit more sane, even if it is an insane city. They have so much space here. It's huge, but just so much space.
Student investment, my song spread.
I realized I must look insane, but they didn't have like the big bags of the cheese tasters, cheesy poops as I like to call them, and I brought a roller bag specifically to bring snacks back with me, so this is gonna have to happen one tiny bag at a time. I'm gonna miss my train because of this. Also, editor's note, I keep forgetting to mention that among the perks of becoming a patron, not only do you get to see these videos early, including Paris My Pocket videos, you also get in the credits at the end, and at the Wanderer level and above, you might get a random shout out as today's patron producer, like Dixie got today. There are also digital wallpaper packs, which I'm going to do a new one when this comes out. From these latest trips, I've got some fun photos that I think would make great backgrounds for your phone or your desktop. And of course, a whole bunch of other things like loyalty stickers if you stick around long enough. And the highest levels get postcards and then prints of photos that I've taken along the way, which is just really fun. And I really enjoy sending those out. So become a patron today at patreon.com/jswanson. It has made my career here on YouTube possible in ways that nothing else has. Thank you to my patrons. I should do a better job of pitching Patreon more regularly, and I will.